In the heart of NASA, a group of brilliant scientists worked tirelessly to achieve the impossible. Among them was Dr. Richard Collins, a quirky genius known for his love of coffee and cosmic jokes. Richard had a peculiar habit of wearing mismatched socks, which he claimed brought him cosmic luck. The mission was clear: send a man to the moon and bring him back safely. As the launch date approached, the tension in the lab grew palpable, but so did the excitement. Richard often lightened the mood by pretending to moonwalk around the lab, to everyone's amusement. "If Neil can do it on the moon, I can do it on Earth," he'd say, with a grin. His enthusiasm was contagious, keeping the team motivated during long nights of calculations. One evening, Richard brought in a toy rocket, launching it across the room to demonstrate a new trajectory. The team burst into laughter as the toy crash-landed into a stack of papers. Despite the humor, the gravity of their work was never lost on them. The countdown to the launch began, with every second feeling like an eternity. Richard, in his usual fashion, quipped, "I hope Neil remembered to pack his toothbrush." The room filled with nervous laughter, but the underlying anxiety was evident. Finally, the day of the launch arrived and the team gathered to watch history in the making. Richard stood at the front, eyes glued to the screen, coffee in hand. As Apollo 11 ascended, the room erupted in cheers, tears of joy streaming down faces. "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed through the control room. Richard couldn't help but add, "and one giant leap for mismatched socks everywhere." The room erupted in laughter once again, the tension finally breaking. As the astronauts made their way to the moon, the team monitored every detail with bated breath. Richard, ever the joker, suggested they send a postcard to the moon as a souvenir. "Dear Moon, wish you were here. Oh wait, you are," he joked, eliciting chuckles. The moon landing was a monumental success, and the team celebrated with champagne and cake. Richard, with a mischievous grin, presented a cake shaped like the moon. "Don't worry, it's just cheese," he said, referencing the old myth. The cake was delicious, and the team relished the sweet taste of victory. As the astronauts prepared for their return, Richard proposed a welcome-back party. "I'll bring the moon pies," he declared, to everyone's delight. The astronauts safely returned, and the team greeted them with cheers and applause. Richard, true to his word, handed each astronaut a moon pie. "You've earned this, heroes," he said, with genuine admiration in his voice. The astronauts shared stories of their adventure, and the team listened in awe. Richard couldn't resist asking, "So, how was the room service up there?" Laughter filled the room, and the astronauts appreciated the light-hearted humor. The success of Apollo 11 was celebrated around the world, but for Richard, it was personal. He knew that this mission had changed the course of history, and he was proud to be part of it. Richard often reflected on the journey, finding motivation in the challenges they overcame. "If we can land on the moon, we can do anything," he'd remind his colleagues. His words resonated deeply, inspiring the team to reach for new heights. Richard's quirky personality became legendary at NASA, a reminder that brilliance and humor could coexist. He continued to push boundaries, always with a smile and a joke in his back pocket. Tourists flocked to the Kennedy Space Center, eager to see where history was made. Richard, ever the showman, gave tours filled with both technical insight and comedic flair. "This is where we launched the moon mission," he'd say, "and this is where I lost my favorite pen." The tourists loved his stories, finding them both educational and entertaining. Richard became a beloved figure, known not just for his intellect but for his warmth and wit. He never missed an opportunity to inspire young minds, often ending his tours with a challenge. The moon was just the beginning. he'd say, "What's your next giant leap?" The tourists left feeling motivated, their imaginations ignited by Richard's passion. Richard's influence extended far beyond the walls of NASA, touching lives across the globe. He was invited to speak at universities, where he shared his experiences with future scientists. His speeches were a blend of wisdom and humor, leaving audiences both inspired and entertained. "Science is serious business," he'd say, "but that doesn't mean we can't have fun along the way." His words struck a chord with students, who saw in him a role model they could relate to. Richard encouraged them to embrace curiosity, reminding them that every question was worth asking. "Even if it's just why are my socks mismatched today?" he'd joke, with a wink. His light-hearted approach made science accessible, demystifying complex concepts with ease. Richard's legacy grew, as did the number of people he inspired to pursue careers in STEM. He remained humble, always crediting the team for the success of Apollo 11. "It was a group effort," he'd say. "I just provided the comic relief." But everyone knew that Richard's contributions went far beyond humor. His innovative ideas and relentless determination were key to the mission's success. As the years passed, Richard continued to work on groundbreaking projects, never losing his spark. He approached each challenge with the same enthusiasm he had during Apollo 11. Richard's passion for exploration never waned, and he remained a driving force at NASA. He was often seen at his desk late into the night, scribbling equations on napkins. "Inspiration strikes at the oddest times," he'd say, holding up a napkin covered in calculations. Richard's colleagues admired his dedication, often seeking his advice on complex problems. He was always willing to help, his door open to anyone in need of guidance or a good laugh. Richard's impact was felt by all who knew him, his legacy cemented in the annals of history. As he grew older, Richard began to think about the future of space exploration. He envisioned a world where humanity reached beyond the moon, exploring the farthest corners of the galaxy. "The stars are our next destination," he'd say, with a twinkle in his eye. Richard's vision inspired a new generation of scientists, eager to continue the work he had started. He mentored young engineers, passing on his knowledge and encouraging them to dream big. "Don't just aim for the moon," he'd tell them, "aim for the stars." Richard's words became a mantra for those who followed in his footsteps, driving them to achieve greatness. He watched with pride as new missions were launched, knowing that his influence was still felt. Richard's life was a testament to the power of perseverance, humor, and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. He often reflected on the journey that had brought him to where he was, grateful for every moment. Richard's story was one of inspiration, a reminder that even the most daunting challenges could be overcome. He believed that anything was possible with the right mindset and a little bit of humor. Richard's adventures continued, each new project bringing its own set of challenges and triumphs. He never stopped learning, always curious about the world around him and beyond. Richard's legacy lived on, not just in the achievements of Apollo 11 but in the countless lives he touched. He remained a beloved figure, his name synonymous with both brilliance and warmth. Richard's story was a beacon of hope, proving that with determination and a positive attitude, the sky was truly the limit. As he looked back on his career, Richard felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He knew that he had made a difference, not just in the world of science but in the hearts of those he had inspired. Richard's journey was far from over, as he continued to push the boundaries of what was possible. His dream of reaching the stars was closer than ever, and he was ready for the next adventure. Richard's life was a testament to the power of laughter, curiosity, and unwavering determination. He had achieved more than he ever thought possible, all while staying true to himself. Richard's story was one of triumph, a celebration of the human spirit and the limitless potential of the mind. He had shown the world that even the smallest steps could lead to giant leaps. Richard's legacy would endure, a shining example of what could be accomplished with passion and perseverance. As he gazed up at the night sky, Richard knew that the journey was far from over. The stars beckoned and he was ready to answer the call. Richard's story, like the universe itself, was infinite, a never-ending adventure filled with wonder and possibility.